Ladies, if you have ever said,
Men are exiting the dating scene by the thousand. What the is going on?
I'm so sick of making eyes with men.
then you have been diagnosed for not having game. Most women don't have game. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's as much of a fact as water is wet, the sun is hot, and Tyrion Lannister, in fact, doesn't shit gold. Let's quickly define female game so that we are on the same page. Female game is the process of converting your imagination to reality. You're able to do that with a combination of your words and actions. The purpose of conversation is to enhance experience. Therefore, the goal of your words should be going from signals to play. Oftentimes, women have expressed a desire for men to lead interactions, but that doesn't just happen. Women's game allows them to facilitate that process, and the ones that do it the best make the man believe this was all his idea. Many women fall into two primary camps when it comes to their lack of game. The first less common camp is that they try to mimic game from the male perspective. This is the most obvious and preventable train wreck that one can imagine. Male game doesn't work on men because, aside from obvious reasons, men don't respond to masculine stimuli the way women do. I can't imagine a woman trying to pull a man into a new reality in a seductive way. At best, dude is probably going to think he's being gaslit, and at worst, it's a direct challenge. And his instincts will be to triple times Batman square up. Let's try to avoid intersexual combat scenarios to the best of our ability. Moving on, the second more common camp is that women are way too passive. They believe men should just read the signals and create romantic bliss out of thin air. Honestly, this is just bad strategy. Last time I checked, most men haven't received their mind reading certifications. Blame the staggering rise of tuition costs for this, ladies. Therefore, solely relying on men to read signals is a suboptimal strategy. Welcome back to Let's Connect, your destination for peak experiences. Today, we will be talking about game from the female side of the universe. Today, you will see how women can up their game so that they can stop setting my algorithm on fire with stuff like,
It's a fucking shit show. Don't date the pretty man.
And doing the stupid little look at you, look away, make eye contact, look away.
today, ladies, I am going to show you how to maximize your opportunities so you can go from the sidelines and into the game. First, I like to start with a few caveats. Number one, I do not like cold approaches. In most cases, I find cold approaching to be stupid. I will cover the ultimate dating strategy in another post, but for now, I want you to know that I'm generally against cold approaches. Second, we need to make a distinction between attracted to and attractive because they are not the same thing, though there is obvious overlap. Attractive tends to fall more on the population level. If someone is attractive, they will generally have mass appeal. However, attracted to is a more personal pull towards a specific individual. It helps, and it helps a lot, to be attractive, but it is not a hard requirement like breathing is for living, for someone to be attracted to you. You can be attracted to someone's aura, their status, competency, or a variety of factors that pull you towards them. In conclusion, use these tips on people that you are attracted to. Now, with those caveats out of the way, let's bridge the gap from signal to game. Proximity. Close the gap. Now that you have your target, you cannot stay across the room. You need to close the space between you two. If you stay far away, a lot can be lost in the space between you and your target. It's like throwing darts. The closer you are to the board, the easier it is to hit your target. Don't be a bystander sending signals from a lighthouse. Get in the game, or at the bare minimum, get courtside. Imagine moving from signal to play. Great. Now that you are close to your target, you can help get the music going. Now, full disclosure, this works much better after a conversation has started. Otherwise, this will be an awkward conversation starter. So for now, let's assume that the conversation is already going. Hi, how are you? Things of that nature, and you know each other's names. So we're going to start from there. Now you can hit the man with the one word, imagine. So then you say imagine, and then you create an interesting scenario, and this should get things going in a very interesting way. For example, you're in a room, you're in a bar, you're having a fun conversation, everything is normal. Then you tell the man, hey, imagine we are both thieves. From this room, what would you steal and why? With a shift like this, we are easily moving from small talk and into a more engaging and interesting conversation. On top of that, you can start to learn about his values, what's important to him. And you never know, you might start laughing. So instead of just talking, now we are playing. Eyes that entice. Eyes are the window to the soul. That may or may not be true, but your eyes can be used to entice a man. A lot of female game comes from the eyes. Most of this is subconscious, but this can be done consciously, probably with some practice so you don't look like a serial unaliver, so that you can do this naturally. The key to do this is by looking at the man from angles, not straight forward. Yeah, bro was cooked. The angle of your eyes communicates very different messages. And in terms of dating, ladies, you want to be looking up at the man. This is going to show respect, admiration, and even submission. This works for two reasons. First, it shows vulnerability. When you put yourself in a vulnerable position, it subconsciously communicates that you are interested, because being vulnerable is the opposite of being guarded. Once you drop your guard, this allows for an opportunity for the man to escalate. The second reason is that it subtly shows submission. I know that word has a bad connotation in the social media streets, but hear me out. When it comes to mating and dating, someone has to submit to the other's frame. I'll be discussing frames another day, but shameless plug aside, if a woman wants a man to pursue, she needs to open the door for him to walk through it. She does this by being submissive or submitting to his frame. Without that confirmation, chances are the man will not pursue. Lips. Lips tell all. The eyes may be deceiving, but the lips rarely lie. Female game is often communicated through their lips. Drawing attention to your lips, either through subtle movements, puckering up, lip biting, or anything that takes his eyes from wherever they are to your lips, is a winning move. Draw his attention where you want his attention.
It's not hard to see the boy is mine.
There is something to be said when a woman makes a public proclamation that states, this man right here is mine. All these other women need to back off. Women tend to do this indirectly, but indirect doesn't mean ineffective. Let's rule out PDA because it's obvious that a man is yours when you're tonguing him down in the hotel lobby. So how else can you do this without PDA? An easy way to do this is by preening the man or cleaning him up, brushing his shoulder, adjusting his shirt, his tie, his sleeves, or any subtle movement that cleans him up that makes him more attractive. By increasing the amount of physical contact, laughing louder than usual at his jokes, kissing him on the cheek, and then giving any woman who looks his way the side eye communicates everything that needs to be said. The playful challenge, running to get caught. Next up is the playful challenge. Now, I cannot think of too many women in media that do this quite as well as Jessica Pearson from Suits.
You banged it.
Harvey, I want you to go ahead and say banged to my face one more time.
I'm not going to, but not because I'm scared of you.
Whatever lets you sleep at night, white boy.
There's a difference between running away to get away versus running away to get caught. A playful challenge is an opportunity to run away, but to get caught. There are two primary ways to challenge playfully. The first is with your words. This can come as a question, such as, "What would you do if?" This creates an opportunity to play with your words. This is low risk and easy to do. Now, if you want to take things up a notch, you can use option 2, which is to challenge by action. This can be done by challenging someone to do something. This can be something as simple as challenging them to a game of darts, asking them to dance with you, to take a cooking class, a game of basketball, or anything that gets you excited. Because the purpose of a challenge is to go from talking to playing. Rely less on your words and more on what your body does in motion and in action. Positioning. This is when we start playing chess, not checkers. As a woman, you need to understand that attractive men, or the men you are attracted to, are probably going to be in the crosshairs of other women. There's a tsunami of reasons for this, but that's outside of the scope of this video. For now, it is in your best interest to cut other women's access off to him. You do this by positioning yourself between him and the other women. This will give those women the indirect cue that he is yours and off limits. Intensity. Taking things up to 11. Last but not least, you amplify the situation through strategic escalation that uses your femininity as an amplifier. This is what people get wrong about masculinity and femininity. People think masculinity is about control and dominance. No. In this context, masculinity creates a safe space for femininity to express itself. Masculinity and femininity take turns in the spotlight, and control shifts from one to the other, an invisible symphony of choreographed beauty that heats things up to the next level. Now, you are letting your touch linger a second too long, or you rub your hand from his shoulder down to his elbow, while combining that with a tilted gaze and lips that don't lie. Escalation is more than doing just one thing. It's about combining steps in a calculated way that makes things hotter than an active volcano. I love to hear from you. So what are your thoughts? Is game the same for men and women? If not, how does it differ? Be sure to like, comment, and share this post with anyone who will receive value from it. As always, until next time, let's connect.